In this lesson, we'll add the data in the tables, this data. It's a very, very easy task. It will take you like 5 minutes at the most. So let's open the beach table. If we go to datasheet view, we do not need to add anything to beach ID because it will assign a number automatically. We go straight to the second thing. So we say beach ID. So for number 1, the beach ID will be castle. Copy and paste. Beach type, the castle beach, the type is sandy. Copy, paste. Beach 1, you can see here, beach 1, there is a lifeguard, so you simply do that. So now that is because, let's go back to design view, you selected yes, no data type to lifeguard. If you selected text, you would have been forced to write yes for this beach 1, yeah? There you have something that you can include in your evaluation. So while you're building your database, you have to take notes of all these things that I need to put that in the evaluation. I need to talk about this in the evaluation. I will need to talk about this. Basically, when you reflect on what you did, you will remember many things, but sometimes it's worth taking notes. Let's go back to datasheet view. See that as soon as I finished, I moved on to the next row. 1 automatically was entered here. When I go to the other row, to the third row, 2 will be entered here, yeah? Or when I close the table. So that helps you as well, so that you don't have to preoccupy yourself with the IDs, but make sure that auto number does fit the primary key, yeah? So we have castle for beach name. The second one is, see, beach 2 is this one. That's the beach name. No Boston is sand and shingle. You can see here that there is no lifeguard, so we leave that empty and we move on to the next one. A bit of time saved here, a bit of time saved here. To populate the table, you have more time to spare. The third beach is called Sidewind, and this data type is basically sand and shingle. Copy. There is a lifeguard on the Sidewind beach, so we have to press that one. In a similar way, let's say the district table, an auto number here for district ID 1. So the district name is this one, and volunteer ID for that one is volunteer is 1. So we type 1. Yeah. For auto number doesn't work for foreign keys because you don't know automatic. How would the database know to automatically assign a volunteer ID to this one? We have that one, volunteer, and the volunteer is number 2. In terms of districts, volunteer ID 3. No, 1. So you see, you cannot assume with these things, yeah? I've done a mistake, so it's 1. You have to be very careful. So I went there instead of looking this. So you have to concentrate when you fill in the data. So let's close that one. The review table in datasheet view, open. 1, 2, 5. Because this is the big table, you can just keep on going. Number of cleanups, okay. So review year 2018. Let's see what happens with that. The value entered does not match the date time data type in this column. Enter new value. Okay, now that is what happened to us earlier, yeah? Let's just save this table as it is and go to the datasheet view, the design view of the table, and change this to either number or text. It doesn't really matter. You would never say 2018 plus 2019, or you would never say 2019 minus 2018. It doesn't make sense. You won't apply maths on it. So leave it as text. It's not bad to leave it as a number, but you can put that then in your evaluation as well. Make a note of it and put it in your evaluation to earn extra points. Let's go back to it. Don't accidentally change any other types. You saw that I changed it to text. Go to open the table. I don't know why this happened. How do you delete rows now? This is, we only have 6 rows of data. Just right click on this Yeah, get the arrow here, the bold arrow, right click and say delete record. Yeah, say yes. That's fine now. But it mixed the numbers, so that's not good. Basically now we're paying for that mistake, and the best thing to do, because we can't look here, we haven't got the time, it's easier to just delete everything. Now that we know that the year should not be entered as date time. Remember, yeah, when you see year, not a date but year. If you see a date, do it, but if you see a year, do not put it as date time, leave it as text. Yeah, we explained all that. So now delete all of these. I'm pressing the delete button for speed. Say yes and put quickly 1 to 5 number cleans per year. Review year, beach ID, district ID, and cleanliness rating review. We've populated that table. Let's go to the volunteer table. So be careful now. The auto number, the primary key is down here. Yeah, we don't need to fill in that. So mobile number, volunteer surname. Let's make a parenthesis. Let's go to the design view. If the volunteer was, let's say, something like this, YZ3456. Now, you think straight away, what data type is that? Yeah, if you want to assign data type to this type of data, if, for instance, volunteer ID is somewhere here, yeah, would say YZ3456. It's a mixture of letters and numbers. You wouldn't apply multiplication on this. You wouldn't apply any calculation on this. You wouldn't summarize it. You wouldn't apply maths on this. So it is text. Yeah. So if you see IDs with mixed letters and numbers, immediately with the logic that we explained earlier with the phone numbers and all of that, these are text. Let's just delete this and go back to what we were doing. So datasheet view, and we don't need to say anything to volunteer there. We just close it and it's done. Now you must remember something. Yeah, you must remember something. What did we do before we start even the previous lesson, when we were assigning data types and now we populated? Do you remember the state of the database? Do you remember that relationships, we deleted the relationships? Now these relationships have to go back. Do not forget that. And if we have issues, let's see how to correct these issues. Yeah, so let's say I will purposely do a couple of errors in order to create problems here, yeah, between the primary and foreign keys. So we're linking that to that, that to that, and then that to that. So I introduced a couple of errors, some errors that it's better to have some experience on these types of errors, yeah? Database tools, relationships. And now we will link, first of all, the beach to the review table. You see that the beach ID primary key here is a foreign key in this table. So we drag and drop that on beach ID and force referential integrity, create, oops. So data in table review violates referential integrity rules. For example, there may be records relating to an employee in the related table, but no record in the... Okay, basically what it's telling me is that in the related table here, that's the related table where the foreign key is, in that field, beach ID of the related table, there is data that is not here. Referential integrity states that only data that exists in the primary key field of the primary table can be entered in the foreign key field of the related table. So the data that we enter here must exist here. Let's go to the related table and check what's happening. The related table is this, the one with the foreign key, beach ID, and look at beach ID. So open the review table. That's the review table, yeah, there it is. and check the data here under beach ID. Only by using your eyes you can see that there is a 33. It meant to say 3. We delete that, we correct that. There is only 3 beaches, 3 IDs of beaches. Yeah. Now, I remember you don't need to do these errors. I'm just purposely creating them in case it happens to you, so that you know how to resolve this type of thing. Yeah. So now, if we go beach ID on top of beach ID here, we drag and drop that on top of that, and force reference integrity, it's correct. It works. Now, let's do this one now. District ID on top of district ID. Yeah. So district ID, primary key of the primary table, linking to the foreign key of the related table. We create. Now, I forgot to see, that's another thing. It says one to many. Here it doesn't say anything. Why? Because I forgot. So you have to either right click and say edit relationship, yeah, or just double click on the relationship and enforce referential integrity. Yeah, it worked. Now let's do this one. Volunteer on top of the volunteer foreign key in the district table. Let's enforce referential integrity, create. Now, the relation must be on the same number of fields with the same data types. Say OK to that. The problem again is always the related table. Yeah. Let's go to the related table. So now we go to the district table to see what the problem is, which is the related table. And we see that there is volunteer 1 and 2. Let's open the volunteer table that links to that. So it doesn't seem to have a problem. Okay, so with the data it's okay. So now let's examine the design view of these tables. We're talking about the volunteer field in the district table, which is a foreign key here, and the volunteer, the primary field, key field of this. So basically we have auto number here, and here we have text. So if this is auto number, this has to be the same data type, which is number, not auto number, but number. Yeah. So auto number and number match as data types. Yeah. I corrected that now. See, from text I made it into. Say, so it doesn't matter. Some data may be lost. It won't be lost. Yeah. Let's have a look if it's lost. It's the volunteer table and the district table. No data was lost. Yeah. So don't be frightened by these messages. We go back to relationships. Grab the primary key field of volunteer ID, put it at the top, enforce referential integrity, and create. So it worked. So there you have it. Now move on to the next lesson.